And you can hear it. Change layout is exactly like it says. Change your view layout. I have this in tiled view. Full screen. And again, another turn on captions. Your settings. Before you get on, if you want to test your settings, please go in here. Go into your settings. Make sure the microphone's correct. You can test it right here. And the speakers here. And then, of course, your video. And make sure the camera's set up the way you like. You can change the resolution. So if you have a slow bandwidth and they're choppy, you're choppy or they're choppy kind of, you can change then this bandwidth to a higher band or a lower bandwidth. For some reason, this is by default, it goes to lower. I'm going to try higher. And if I start, jumping around, let me know if it looks funny or something, but we should be good. And then use the phone for audio. And that's really the biggest things here. Okay. So I'm going to stop presenting that portion. Good, good. Yeah, each of you should be able to turn on caption yourself. And that's an option while you're here. All right. So, what questions do we have? I'm not hearing anybody. Oh, pin the screen. So pinning the screen is you're pinning basically that person up to, basically they're the focus, whether they're talking or not.
Okay, we'll play with it.
Yeah, that'll make them the focus of that. And then of course you can remove someone and you can hide them.
Mike, is there any way like Zoom, like you have to let the kids in? Is there any way to control or do I just have to get on first and then the kids are in the room automatically, or how does that work?
So what would you want to do? Would you want them, you want to be there first, correct?
I want to be there first. Would I just have to arrive early then to be the first one on? Or is there a setting that lets the host let you let people in, I guess?
Yeah, you could get on. What you could do is always get on before you send the code out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could always get on before you send the code out to students. That's one way. The other option is when you go to the upper right-hand corner, do you see the torso next to the grid box?
Uh-huh.
If you click on that, underneath the people is add people.
Okay.
Now, what I would suggest, and I don't believe this is used enough, what I've used for all these trainings is I've used contact lists. So Google Contacts has every contact in the whole district in there, but you can create your own labels with contact in them. I would suggest that you create a contact list of all your students. And here's why. Okay. Because if I click add people, all I have to do is type something like Kelly Sterneman's class. And then that will invite every single student at the same time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because that'll save you from having to type everybody's name out.
Right. And then
they would join.
Right. Would you suggest just using the kids' emails, or would you suggest, do you think using, or anybody else can answer this question too, using kids and parents' emails? What do you think that we need to do for the younger grades?
In a remote setting?
Yeah.
Hey, can I chime in, Mike? Do you care if I say something?
Oh, no. Absolutely.
Okay. I actually, as a mom and a teacher, I actually experienced this question, Kelly.
Okay.
because the teachers were sending it to my personal, because that's what I registered the kids with.
Yep.
So Stacey Lowenstein at att.net.
Yep.
Then I was forwarding the invite to their Chromebooks because I was working also, so I didn't want them on my laptop.
Okay.
Well, you cannot, their email addresses will not take in outside email addresses.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So then I had to forward it to my school email to be able to get it to them. So as a working mom, I would appreciate it you can send it to me, but I would appreciate it also being sent to my kids' Gmail address so that they can use their own devices and not tie up mine.
Well, my thought was if I could just send it, I didn't know if parents would need it too, because we kind of had the same thing with Oliver in the very beginning until we got him squared away. And I used Zoom with my kids. So I'm trying to, I think this year I'm going to try, next year coming up, I'm going to try Google Meet, but I didn't know what would be the easiest. But it would be easier really for us just to use their school accounts because their information's already on our.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Right?
Yep. I think so.
So
and that's all I did. As a teacher, that was all I did. I just sent it to the kids, and that was it.
And then the parents, if I just give the parents their email address and their all the kids' information, and then they can log their kid on, because I'm going to need them to log them on in the beginning,
right,
or forever.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question on this because you guys both use Zoom and Google Meets with your kids, and I really didn't. But I remember you guys saying something about the thing that was better with Zoom was that you had control of the kid's microphone, and that was a problem with Google Meet. Has that ever been addressed?
That would probably be a question I had, Mike, is that I figured out one time how to mute a student's mic on Google Meets, but then I couldn't figure out how to unmute it. When I was clicking it, I couldn't unmute it. So is there a way for us to mute their mics on Google Meets?
Yes. Yes. So where that icon that shows up, that shows the pin and the microphone and the remove. So you can mute them and unmute them then. So once you mute them, that's where you would do that. Does that make sense? Right in the middle of the screen, it pops up on
And where's that located?
So on the icon, you can look at anyone. And when you hover your cursor over, you'll see the three icons.
Okay.
Yeah, and that middle one is the microphone.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, you'll play around with that one. So that works really well. But it's going to be, how do you meet these, not meet as in meet the program, but how do you meet up with these parents and students and make sure everyone can get on like they need to be? It's trial and error with some of them, isn't it? Trying to make sure everybody, they understand. But like anything, they're learning too. These parents are. Once they get the hang of it, they'll be fine. They'll be like, okay, great. This is the way we're doing it. And you go from there. But you're not going to reach everybody, but the more we can reach, the easier, the better. Let's do what we can to help these students. That's all I can say. But it's not very difficult, the program itself. There's not a lot of features, which actually is good because you don't get too bogged down with trying to figure things out. It just works. And it works at a higher resolution than Zoom does. So the quality should be better. But again, you can change that resolution to lower if you need to, because it gets choppy. And you can, if you've ever, well, I'm sure we've all have experienced watching TV program and it kind of gets pixelated. That's exactly what's happening with bad bandwidth. And that's what it is. It's just bad bandwidth. So you lower your bandwidth, then it's not as much issue because it's not using as much. So it'll work a lot better that way. I really like this nod though. I haven't messed with it because I just found it like a few days ago, but this nod extension looks really, really cool. But again, the students have to have it also. So we can push that out to their Chromebooks and they'll have it automatically. So that's something that I'll probably have done, especially if we're doing remote learning for sure. And I can't see us not doing it at some point. So, in the fall or even with snow days and such. So I see this being used more than probably more than we want, but at the same time, if that's what we can do to reach our students, that's what we're going to have to do. Yes.
I have another question. Are you, or are there, a parent has asked, a parent said the only thing that she would ask us to do is, she said, I wish we had some tutorial videos on how to like do some of the things that we had been doing. And whether she means like Google Meet, or if we try Zoom, like she felt a little overwhelmed because there was no, like, we didn't give them much guidance, but she understands that we didn't have much guidance, but she said for the upcoming school year, if we could like come up with some simple training videos, maybe.
Okay. So what I would tell them, Kelly, is just go to my website.
Okay. So that's, can we pull stuff off your website and like share it with them? Is that doable or no?
What do you mean pull it off?
Do you just like, if we wanted just them to know how to say work a Google Meet, is there something where I could just send it and like push it out?
Yeah, because they're YouTube videos. So you could actually just, do you know how to save a YouTube video? That's what you would do. You could just save it.
I don't know if I've done that yet.
But you can share it. So it's real easy to share, just like you would share anything else.
Yeah, I've done that. I know how to do that.
That's good enough. Just share the video.
So I can share your videos. I could like,
they're not mine.
I'll figure it out.
I didn't make the videos. I just steal.
Okay. Got it.
I go through the videos and I just say, okay, this one's pretty good. No, this one's not real good. This one, and then I put them on my website. Someday I might be brave enough to create my own videos, but I think other people do a great job, and I use those when I can. So yeah.
Okay. So I'll look through there and find out what I need to help them out. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. Any other comments or questions about this? Again, it's a simple program. If there's something you're looking for, let me look at the notes here. I would say, again, whatever you are comfortable with, either Zoom or Google Meet. I don't know the capabilities of Zoom and what it will be after this is all over. That's the only gotcha, in the sense that, will they start charging? Google will never charge. They will not charge to use the basic features. The recording feature is only supposed to be available through September 30th of this year. But if we go back to having the same kind of situation, I have a feeling they're going to extend it, just like many companies have extended their premium edition of programs. So, that's kind of up in the air. But no, I would use whatever works for you at this time. It's good to know both programs, but what works best for you? I'm not going to say you need to use this at all. For me, it's easier just because, again, I can go in there, I can type anyone's name, and you're going to show up immediately. I don't have to know your email address. I don't need to know anything else. You're already in my contacts. All your students, they're already there. All that information is there. And if you want to use your contact list even more, you can open up a student contact and put in, say, their parents' information in that contact list too, without having to look it up in Skyward. Again, I know it's another step, but if that would be something that you're interested in, super easy to do that too. So
where would you start the contact list for your students? Would you have to go back to your email to do that?
No, what you would do is open up a new tab, and you're going to see an icon called Contacts. It's another app, just like Docs and Sheets and Gmail. It's just another app that's underneath the waffle.
One. Okay.
Yeah, underneath the waffle.
Okay.
You click on Contacts, and you open that up, and it'll show thousands of contacts, because it will show every student and every teacher and staff member. Anyone that has a Google account in the district will show up there. So I know I could do it probably, but it's well worthwhile, I believe, to use.
And another question I have is, I always just open the meeting and then I cut and paste the link, and that's what I email. But when I get an invitation, I get a really nice kind of Google invitation. How do I get that into my email?
Well, that's using the calendar invite, I believe.
Okay.
That's how I send it out, always using the calendar invite. And that is super easy. In fact, give me a second here. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So right here, you can see this is today's. If I come back here, here's today. If I want a calendar invite, I can easily click here. Notice one of the options is add Google Meet video conferencing. What I'll do here is always choose more options, put a title in, make sure that you select this join with Google Meet. Okay. Take the all day off because you probably won't have it all day. Put your time in. You don't need to put location. Put when you want this to be available, when you want it to go out to the people, participants, in this case, students, if we're talking with students or parents. You don't need to do anything else here, but where it says add guest, this is where you'd put their email address or their name. Once you're done, you click save. It will ask you if you would like to send an invite to everyone. You select invite. Everyone under the guest list here will then receive the invite to join your Google Meet. Does that work?
Yes, except for the time when you said the time is the time of the meeting, where it's under email and it says email 1, email 2. What do you put there?
Oh, here.
Yes.
This is when it would send an email to them and remind them. So it would send them an email an hour before, a reminder, it'll send them an initial invite, but it will remind you an hour before, and in this case, a day before, or maybe you want to make it minutes.
I see.
Yeah, you change that to whatever you want, and you can add more if you want.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So that is doing it using calendar. Okay, so I can discard that. Now let me show you a different one. We'll stop presenting that one. Let me present one other thing and show you how to do it in Gmail. So Gmail, and a lot of you probably haven't seen this, is you can scroll down and right at the bottom, oh, went away. Start a meeting or join a meeting. Start a meeting is click it, and there we go. All your information's right here. Okay. Did everybody see that? Okay. So different ways to get to it. Again, it makes it easy. You're doing emails or whatever. You need to join a meeting. You can easily do it right through your Gmail. I like using Calendar because I like setting it up so that it goes out at a specific time and does the reminders. That seems to work pretty well. But again, whatever your choice is. Okay, questions? Yes, Tara?
Mine's not really, maybe not a question, but more of I did Google Meets with my class all the time just because of the fact that Zoom had to be, downloaded. Especially I see a lot of Renfro people. So I'm kind of speaking of and Stacy as a parent, Heidi as a parent, you guys might also think about this. I felt that, like, let's say Kelly has a kid and I have a kid and we share a parent and she's doing Zoom and I'm doing Meets. And, I found that I think that we might want to think about, it might be better for the population of our parents, especially maybe within buildings, to do the same thing. Might be easier on the parent side. And also you can schedule them also, like those of us who are doing Google Classroom, there's that option also to schedule it through Google Classroom. And I did calendar all the time once I found out that you could do that. And I like that, because then the parents can also say, like RSVP it. So you kind of have an idea of how many kids are going to be joining. So you could maybe a day try to contact other kids to say, hey, somehow try to communicate maybe with them better. The other thing is, Kelly, I would have kids get on before me sometimes, and it didn't bother me because I would come on and they actually got to talk to each other. Like I noticed with my older kids being fourth grade, they weren't having inappropriate conversations. They were just excited to see each other and talk to each other. Obviously going into it, maybe at the beginning of next year, it'll be more academically centered. But for me, they just enjoyed being on. I don't know that they ever realized, oh, I could get on 3 hours before. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the older kids know how to do that, but I didn't take it as, if they needed that time to talk, I was okay with it. So anyway.
And I do think I agree with you, and to help parents out, at least building wide, if we could agree, or most of us agree, to do one thing, because I did Zoom because that's what I started with. So I felt like I had to stay with that because that's what I initially sent out. Mm-hmm. But I do think it would be helpful if we were all pretty similar. We've talked about how Google Classroom, we can't decide if that's real age appropriate for us in kindergarten. But at the same time, I feel like it's important for us to at least try it and do a little bit of a few features on there, because that's what everyone's using as the kids grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So even if we use it very simplified or very, it's reduced capacity, maybe that's probably what we should do, even though if it's not the most kid friendly in the beginning. But no matter what we do in the beginning, we're going to need a lot of help from parents anyway.
Right. Kelly, the one nice thing though about Google Classroom is you can send a video, you
right.
can send it, which is nice too.
Right. And I made videos and just posted it on my Bloom site. But yes, to be able to push it straight to the kids would be nice.
Yeah, great.
Okay, sorry. I guess I didn't have a question. I just wanted to throw out that what worked for me.
Tara, that's what this is about. So you made some great points, and I always struggle between wanting things to be very consistent and then letting people and telling them to do it however you want because you're comfortable with that. There's a fine line between let's get on board to do things one way because it's better for everyone, or I do it this way and it works real well for me and I don't want to change. So, it's always a struggle for me to determine. You don't want to push things too far, but at the same time, you try to, let's try this. Let's probably stay with this platform, and here's why. And until you realize the reason behind it, you're not going to change. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. But I agree. We want parents to be able to be used to something. It's the same every time. Consistency is great, not just for kids, but for parents too. Mm-hmm. Totally agree. All right.
I do like the fact that you showed us how to mute. That was I struggled with that. I didn't know how to mute the kids. And when I would tell them to mute, some kids wouldn't, because some of them are on their phones and some of them are on. But we found that the kids would tell each other how to do it. So they knew already more than I knew. So that feature was nice. So thanks for showing
me. Well, kids will start playing with anything and touch buttons and whatever. And that. So they're willing to experiment a lot more than we are. So that's for sure. No, this has been really good. I like the conversation, and hopefully it's been very helpful to everyone. Other comments or questions from anyone? No crickets. I don't want to hear crickets. Come on, people. No, I get it. It's Friday. We're all getting tired. Hopefully, again, this was somewhat helpful for you guys. I've had to pull all this stuff together. I haven't had much time because I didn't know if we were going to be remote, if we were going to be on site. I tried to pull as much as I could together as quickly as possible to have this to be relevant. And this will continue to be built out. We'll have more information all the time. Nothing that I do is static. My website changes all the time, and I'm trying to keep that up to date. But from you guys, let me know what works, what doesn't work, what you liked about the remote trainings here, what you didn't like, what you would like more of. We're all going to learn from each other and hopefully make it a better experience. So that is kind of where we're at right now. Okay. Let me see if there's any more comments here. Yeah. There will be evaluations after this meeting and CPDUs available also if you'd like to get your CPDUs. I'd appreciate if you did the evaluations, just like each of these, and they can be sent to Chris Analek. But if you have anything else, that any of the trainings that you're doing with me next week, you might as well hold on to them until the end of the week. My website, if you go to kaux.org, employees, there is a link under there for CUSD training. And again, I try to update that. Right now, it's been difficult doing all this, but I have a few things that are on there. Meet and all these Google programs change all the time, so I try to keep them updated. But sometimes I'm a few months off. But they do change features all the time on me, and then I'm trying to keep up with it. But
hey, Mike.
yes.
So when I would share my screen with the students, I know you sent me the video to watch. I tried setting up a Chromebook and my laptop because when I share my screen, I can't see my students' faces. And when I did, I got that bad feedback. But there was another way on there that did something with minimizing the tab. There's like a third way that you could do it. And I could not figure out how to do that.
Here's another option. And then I don't know if most people know this, and I don't know if I can do it without kind of losing where you can see it. I'm in Chrome right now, of course, and we're doing this meeting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different tabs open. Let's say I want one tab to be on a different screen, or I pull it out of where it currently is. You can drag it and pull it, and it will then actually add another Chrome box. Like it opens another instance of Chrome, the browser. Then what you do is you split your own screen just by dragging and dropping and making 2 screens. That's what I would do. Again, if you have a small screen like a Chromebook, it's going to be really small. But if you have a monitor of, say, 19 inches or whatever, yes, you can split your screen in half and easily view both. Does that make any sense?
Okay, yes, I just managed to do that with a tab.
Yes.
But now, so tell me now about the split screen. Do I just have to do the tab part, or
manually then drag one to the left and then pull the other one down? You know what I mean? Yeah, you'll have to adjust them manually. But then you'll have a split screen of each one. Got it? I know, I wish I could show you guys that. That's hard for me to do in this platform without having, again, another login and such being logged in. But yeah, it's easy just to grab one. In fact, I can try it here and see if I can do my whole screen. Okay, I've got my whole screen here. So if I just let's say I click this right here and drag it. Notice how that goes. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to shrink it here. Go back here. And this one then can go up here. And so you can make it whatever size you want.
And then you're able to see us then here on the screen.
Yes, you're on the right side, and I'm looking at a completely different tab that I stole or I took from this original box. Yes. And then if I want to just make it one screen, I can just maximize, which I just did to us right now. I just maximized this screen. Okay. I think that's your easiest way to do it. Then you don't have to worry about another device and you won't get feedback. And you can always turn off their sound too, I guess. But yeah, very good. So hopefully that'll help resolve that issue for you. Okay, very good. I love the questions. Again, if I don't know the answer, I'll try to figure it out for you guys and get back to you and move on from there, as I like to say. Let's see if we got another comment here. Okay, website, and let me do one thing. Sorry about that. Somehow my audio went off. That was weird. You know, this technology stuff, you never can figure it out sometimes. All right. Any other comments? Is everybody good? All right. So if nothing else, this is Friday. I want everyone to enjoy the weekend. I see sunlight, which is an awesome thing. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. And please send me information, send me questions, comments, whatever you can to help us all enjoy this and get through it the best we can, okay? All right, guys, take care.